Open is next. This year's U.S. Open field is certainly one with a wide mix of tour veterans and relative newcomers ready to make their mark on the sport of bowling. Welcome to the 2008 U.S. Women's Open. Hi, I'm Bo Burton, and let's look at the finalists. In bracket number 4, Carolyn Doran Ballard is the feature player. Stephanie Nation features the players in the next bracket. Next week, we'll see Tennille Milligan try to win her second U.S. Open. And today, we have a terrific field with Brenda Mack, Terrell-Kearney, Diandra Asbaty, and Maxine Nable. With me is two-time U.S. Open champion Marshall Holman. And Marshall, you've been in this position before. What does it mean to a lady's career if she can win this tournament?
It's simple. It means she's going to go down in history as one of the great players. There are only so many majors each year. These ladies won it very, very bad.
I'm looking forward to your expertise comment. And now we go to Kathy Doran-Lizzie in the VIP area.
Well, this is the U.S. Open. The format was long and the conditions were challenging. And although a lot of our top players did not make the cut, it was a very diversified group that did. Each day, a different lady led the round. And although those top players didn't make the cut this year, I believe the most versatile players did.
Today's Look at the Lanes is sponsored by the PBA Experience Leagues. Contact your local bowling center to see how you can bowl on the exact same oil condition used on the PBA's Denny Tour. We're bowling on 4 lanes. We have 2 matches going at the same time. We have Terrell-Kearney on the left bowling Mack, and Asbaty, who is the marquee player in this group, bowling Nable from Australia. And Marshall, what is the key really to hitting this cheetah pattern, buddy?
Well, the ladies are going to be playing the outside trajectory, and I really think keeping the ball going at the pins or a little left is going to be really helpful. Great shot from Terrell-Kearney in her first shot on lane 39.
Now will be a bowling alternate lanes. Diandra Asbaty, the higher finisher among all 4 of these players, has decided to bowl on this right-hand pair, 41 and 42 here at Brunswick Zone XL lanes. First shot.
Now she leaves the half 10, and she was switching back and forth, Bo, to different bowling balls, trying to get that, not only be able to hit the pocket, but she needs to figure out a way to knock out the 10. Had a little bit of problem in practice, and her opponent, Nable, looked really, really sharp.
Could be an upset in the making, but it's the first frame. Everybody's got to get their bowling legs underneath them. Cross lane, Asbaty for the 10.
And she switches to a ball that doesn't hook as much, and it was a good thing, Bo, because she pulled that ball, but she had a little bit of room for error. That's a very smart professional way to go.
Now Brenda Mack, who is first-team All-American at University of Nebraska, helped the Cornhuskers win the 1995 National Championship. Another product of the Bill Straub coaching up there. Our former PBA players turned out some great titles and great champions. Here we go.
Now, Mack actually sent the ball a little bit to the right, but she has the right combination with her roll and with the kind of equipment she's using, able to knock out the 10-pin.
Okay, Maxine Nable, she's from Sanctuary Point, Australia, and that's, she tells me, just south of Sydney. So she's from way down under. First shot, right-hand lane. Her opponent, Asbaty, started with a spare.
She really gets the ball down there fast. That one got a little bit right of her target. She's not real thrilled with that shot, but you know, the first frame jitters, they're there for everyone, whether it's your first time on television or if you've been there for, you know, years and years and years. You can see this ball went just a tad right. It should start hooking now, but it starts a little bit late. Fortunate just to shake him around, leave nothing but the 7-pin. She'll throw hard and straight at the 7. And no problem.
Solid first frame. Now we go to the left-hand pair. Brenda Mack, strike up, can jump out to a little pressure lead over Kim Terrell-Kearney. Both of those players are perfect. Mack, the only thing I think she has to fight, Marshall, is soft speed. She really has all the great technique, but if she gets a little soft, the ball will run high on her.
Well, looks like a 10-pin on that left-hand lane, and for the most part, it's going to be just a matter of getting the right combination to get both pocket and strikes. Ball comes in late to the pocket, 6-pin lays in the channel, doesn't quite knock out the 10-pin, and got to be a little bit disappointed. It was a good shot, just 9 instead of 10. She really stares down those pins before she gets ready to throw the ball. Great concentration.
Well, these ladies are very, very experienced. Kind of the wild card, as you said, Marshall, is Maxine, who's up here on the left-hand lane, who really is throwing a good shot, too. So we haven't seen any wild shots. Nobody's got anything going, but that's not a bad way to start a match.
Not at all. A little bit out of time on that shot. Leaves the 2 and the 8.
Now, this is a spare that can give you trouble, especially on synthetic lanes. We're going on synthetic lanes, brand new here at Brunswick Zone. And I went down and looked at these lanes, Marshall. They're in perfect shape. You could eat dinner off these things. They're so perfect. So you can bet on a true roll across lane, but still the double wood is a tough shot, especially in the opening of a show.
Sure. I'll stay at the restaurant. You can have dinner at the lanes. Oh, she hooks by, leaving the 8-pin and leaving a big, big opening.
Well, we can see what with the short oil, 35 feet, and then a lot of back end, a lot of finish, and obviously going left of the 8-pin, a big opening for her opponent. Now, Kim Terrell can take a 10-pin lead if she could strike here on the right lane.
And don't you agree that spares today are much more difficult because of the back ends than they used to be?
Oh, I agree.
Well, the experience of Kim Terrell. That ball was trying to creep in a little bit high, but Terrell-Kearney able to take a 10-pin lead as Diandra Asbaty gets up in the second frame. And boy, you know, when your opponent gives you the opportunity to really step up and take control of the match, you just got to do it.
Well, this is the International Woman Bowler of the Year. She knows how to grab the bull and by the horns and take advantage of it. Let's see what happens. It's still early, though.
There's the friendly kick of the 10-pin. You can see that ball roll down at 18.9 miles per hour, courtesy of our computer-aided tracking system. Watch the 6-pin in the channel, and bang, knocks it out, and you know she likes that.
Not only did her opponent give her opening, she gets a good break. Now, Kim Terrell-Kearney. She's up, perfect through 2, can take a 20-pin lead in just the 3rd frame.
Beautiful shot, in control, experience of Terrell-Kearney right now is showing up early in this game. I had the opportunity of watching Diandra last year at a tournament in Panama City, and she took control of that tournament and just ran through everyone. It was quite impressive.
Yeah, if she gets loose, tough to stop. She can take a 23-pin lead here with a strike. We asked Diandra what a U.S. Open title would mean to her career at this point.
The U.S. Women's Open is one of the premier events that women have to bowl in, and to be able to win the U.S. Open would be a dream come true. It's some of the best bowlers in the world coming together, and to compete in that field is an honor for me, and to be able to win it, or at least be in the hunt to win it, is pretty special.
All right, Diandra Asbaty on lane 41, going for the spare. Hard and straight, no problem, and retains the 13-pin lead.
Brenda Mack His husband is a great international player, Tim Mack. He's formerly a Penn State football player and star, played under Coach Joe Paterno. There he is, still in quite great physical shape and a great international player in his own right.
She likes it, and she should. All right.
As we go to break, let's take a look at some of the past U.S. Open champions. U.S. Women's Open is being brought to you by the United States Bowling Congress, the sport's governing body, growing the sport and protecting the integrity of the game. By Bowl.com, the USBC's official website and bowling's premier online destination. And by the Bowling Foundation, 67 million bowlers contributing through one voice. Thank you, Bowling Foundation.
All right, and using our slow motion, you can see Kim Terrell-Kearney striking on lane 39. And then Diandra Asbaty. She leaves the 10 pin. This is the first shot for each one of our ladies. Brenda Mack throws a great strike in her opening shot. And Maxine Nable comes in a little bit light, leaving just the 7 pin. And that's our slow motion, really giving us a good look at how these matches got started.
While we were away, Diandra Asbaty threw 3 strikes in frames 4 through 6. Maxine Nable needs a strong finish.
Looked like a good shot off her hand, but leaves us the 10 pin. You know, I talked to her yesterday, and she said one of the keys for her was the fact that she hasn't been bowling very much lately, so she's really just enjoying herself, although it doesn't look like much fun now as we see this ball coming right into your living room down low. Look at the 6 pin. It doesn't jump out and get that 10.
Well, the story so far has been who's been able to carry the 10 pin. Everybody's got a bunch of them. You just got to carry it and make it. Disaster there, Marsh.
Well, that's almost like handing it over on a silver platter right now, Bo.
Here is a crucial shot if Brenda Mack is going to continue to our final match. She trails by 43, can put a little pressure on Terrell-Kearney with a strike here, but it's almost must-strike situation.
Better speed. Still just came in just a little bit high. Actually, the speed 17 miles an hour. It looked a little faster off her hand to me.
17 doesn't seem like it's getting it done today. There's a lot of pin action here, and the balls and these lanes are really, really smooth. So once they start hooking, they hook a lot. And so that ball speed, as you said, Marshall, is of ultimate importance. Cross lane for the 4.
Now, she makes the 4 pin, but she needs lots of help right now. The best she can do is shoot 204. Terrell-Kearney right now working at a 227 pace, and the same can be said for the Asbaty-Nable match.
Well, Asbaty hasn't missed the pocket either, so it doesn't look like she's going to give her an opening. You got to start taking it with some strikes. By far her best shot, Mark.
Maxine's got to be going to herself, well, where's that been the whole game? That's what I was doing in practice, and it can, gosh, it can leave you and come back in just an instant.
Well, for Kim, she just has to maintain what she's doing. Very experienced player, former U.S. Open champion, won it in 2001. She has 9 pro titles. This is not a new experience for her. She's in great position right here. What a confident shot, Marsh.
Mr. Kearney certainly approved. You're right, Bo. Very confident delivery. Ball hooking back solid in the pocket, and every pin doing its damage.
Asbaty up on the right-hand lane, 42 with a commanding lead.
Just needs to fill frames. Will it go? No, the solid 9.
Well, as our South American people say, when you leave a solid 8 or 9, La Fantasma. Phantasma.
And that And that means?
That means the ghost pin. It was down, but it came back up. I like it. Anytime they leave a solid 8 or 9, and Clara Guillermo told me that, they call it a ghost pin. And she covers the ghost.
The ghost pin's not going to hurt Asbaty right now. She just needs to keep making spares. She'll be fine. And it looks like it's going to be Terrell-Kearney and Asbaty.
Well, Kim can lock up the match with a strike here. A strike here, and she is in the finals of this telecast. Whoa.
That was a big mistake. The 3, the 6, the 4, and the 7. You know, she's been able to get away with getting the ball a little left off her hand, but this time it got left, goes right through the heart, and leaves one of those reactive resin splits.
Should she go for it at this point, Marshall? She's got a strike up. She's got a commanding 43-pin lead. Should she go for this split? It's makeable. And lose the pin count if she misses it all.
Actually, I think I'd just try and get the 2.
Okay. She did. Made no attempt to get to the right of the 3-pin. Very smart tactic. She still needs just a mark to win. Asbaty, all she needs to do is keep filling frames, and she's in the driver's seat also.
And Nable can do no more than 205.
Good shot. Get it. Carry.
Asbaty working at a 2-team pace. In fact, with that strike there, she just need good count in the 10th frame.
Boy, it's so easy to see from here when they get relaxed and throw a really comfortable, relaxed ball. We've seen Terrell throw them that way. We've seen Asbaty. That was by far her most relaxed shot. Now, Brenda Mack absolutely must strike. Here's the situation. She must strike out and have Kim Terrell-Kearney open in the 10th, and she could possibly win or even have a tie. But she must strike right here.
Bang. All right, she knows she still has an outside chance. And, you know, getting back to what you were saying about throwing a relaxed shot, you can't take a basketball and force it into the hoop. You can't take a golf ball and make it go with velocity and make it go straight, forcing it. The same is true in bowling.
Trust is a must. Your game is a bust, huh?
Whaler said it.
I believe it. What a ball by Nable. She has, and here's the scenario, an outside chance of winning this game against Asbaty. And what would happen to have, Asbaty would have to open and Nable strike out and Asbaty get a bad count, like an 8-pin open. Now.
Not likely, but it's both games are still up in the air to a very small extent.
Mandatory strike right here.
This lane has been hurting her.
Still in it.
Finally got a break on that lane. Came in a little bit light. Made the adjustment. Must have moved a little bit left on the approach. Trying to get a little more oil to carry the ball down. Head pin goes to the sideboard. And the pins dance. And boy, she wanted that one. She knows she's still got an outside chance. Force your opponent to show up in the 10th frame.
Good point. Must strike on this ball to have any chance.
And if I'm Kim Terrell-Kearney, I just assume she didn't strike here.
I agree.
Gotta hurry. Oh. Well, she did everything she could late in the game. Terrell-Kearney will win the match between Brenda Mack and herself.
Obviously, this is match play competition. All you have to do is beat your opponent to move on to the finals. So we already have one finalist. It's going to be Kim Terrell-Kearney. Now the second finalist will be determined on lane 41 and 2. We still have the jury out on Diandra Asbaty, Maxine Nable. Maxine is up in the 10th. Absolutely must strike. If she does not strike, we already will have our 2 finalists, but she's still in it if she can strike here.
Look at that power. I suppose you could say Nable is able.
You've been waiting to do that. What does that takes out the 10-pin, Marshall? You know, you couldn't do that with the old heavier pins or whatnot, but with today's power balls.
That's the head pin. Watch it go to the sideboard and bang.
Wow. Dancing and doing some damage. Nable has given herself a chance to win. She must strike here, must strike on the next ball, and then have Asbaty have a disastrous 10th frame. Here we go.
Again? Instant replay, Bo.
Wow. Can I borrow some of that power? Boy, she's got to be feeling a little bit vindicated, though, because she started so poorly, and it's really a lack of experience.
So watch that head pin go to the sideboard. It's going to bounce right back in, and does Nable like it? Why not?
Okay, she must still concentrate. A strike here will force Diandra Asbaty to get a full 9 count in the 10th frame.
How about 3 times? You might as well do it 3 times. What a great finish. Brought a smile to her face. Let's take a look at that one more time. A little bit different as the head pin does the damage. It sort of rolls over quickly.
Asbaty up 10th frame, needs 9 pins on 2 balls. She has a strike up, 9 pins on 2 balls to advance to bowl Kim Terrell-Kearney in the final. Here we go.
It sounds easy.
Hit it.
And it was. Great shot and a great smile.
That's a winner. Just the final score to be determined. We will be back right after this with the match. A USBC event from Brunswick, Zone XL in Romeoville, Illinois. Let's look at the keys to success. The keys to success are sponsored by USBC Coaching. To ensure continued success in your game, locate a certified coach in your area by using the Find a Coach feature on bowling's official website. And Marshall, can you take us through that final shot by Diandra that locked up the match?
Well, the key to success for Diandra Asbaty is just to let that talent take her through. You can see this is the shot she threw in the 10th frame. Stroh motioned all the way down the lane. High flush, 10 in the pit, and this is the pair that she bowled on. They're bowling on the same pair for this final match that she bowled on earlier. So advantage Asbaty. For Terrell-Kearney, she needs to make sure she keeps her speed up. She has a tendency to sometimes get a little slow.
And joining us in the announce booth during the first portion of this game is one of the great players from last year's U.S. Open, Shannon O'Keefe. Welcome aboard, Shannon.
Well, thank you for having me.
Okay, first shot, Diandra Asbaty. Let's see who advances to the Final Four.
Almost a 7-10, 7 just falling out.
Shannon, you bowl with Diandra a whole bunch, as we're going to have a re-rack here because the 10 pin got knocked over, Marshall, so the 10's going to be set up. But speaking of Diandra, you bowled with Shannon, you bowled with Diandra a ton last year, and what is her really best shot from this outside line?
She's really good at going a little bit left to right. She's just really strong at staying down and through her shot. As long as she gets through her shot and doesn't cut it off short, she's pretty solid.
What was your key last year? You bowled probably the greatest game a woman has ever bowled on a big national scale. There's been some 300s, but you shot 299 in these semifinals of the U.S. Open last year. Were you playing this type of shot on this type of condition?
Most definitely, yeah. The biggest key for me was getting a ball in my hand that rolled early enough. Yeah, there you go. It's my scary face. Yeah, it was getting a ball in my hand that rolled early enough to control the back end. That was the key for me, and getting it through the mid lane. It was fun.
It was fun for you. The opponent didn't enjoy it too much.
Oh, that's okay. It was Stephanie. She's my buddy.
299.
That was a 10 pin that didn't quite fall, but that was a lot of fun for us as well.
Okay, we're getting organized here right now. Diandra Asbaty, after a little delay. Shannon, she's a pretty good spare shooter anyway, isn't she?
Yeah, I don't see her miss very much. I don't think she'll have a problem tracking this one down.
She changed balls for spare balls usually?
Yes, she does.
Okay.
Has to keep her composure through that little bit of a delay. I know I wouldn't have liked that back in my day. No problem for Asbaty. She makes the spare. These ladies have a lot more patience than I ever had, and I wish I could have had a little of that back in the day, but that was a long time ago, Bo.
Well, you're maturing, Marshall, at the age of 50 plus. All right, now we have Kim Terrell-Kearney, who was just really solid in their first match, kept every ball except one around the pocket. Opening shot.
She leaves the solid, smashing 7-10. Ball hits the pocket nicely.
Well, once again, we have a slight malfunction. She's going to have the 7-10 reset. And what happens is you watch this replay, the ball, as Del Ballard always tells me, stands up. In other words, what it does for the people at home, it loses its spin and starts rolling out, kind of like a water wave flattening out. And when it does that, it goes through the pin straight, and the 5 does not take out the 7, and the 6 obviously doesn't take out the 10. And my opinion is for that is to spin it more or throw it harder or get a different ball, Marshall. What do you think?
I think in today's game, getting the different ball could possibly be the right kind of move. And I believe that Kim did change pieces of equipment for this game, different than what she used the last game. In any case, it's a terrible break. It was a good shot.
She knows how to win. Former 2001 U.S. Open champion, 9 pro titles, and an All-American at San Jose State. Don't count her out. Second frame.
Yeah, I just don't think that the ball is reading the lane right. Looks like it's a little too skate flippy, like it's not picking up the mid lane enough.
Well, let's go down to Kathy Doran Lizzie to report on some action.
Well, as I asked her in her interview, she was actually going to start the match with an earlier rolling ball that was smoother. At the end of practice, she went to the Clash, which is more lengthy and flippy. Now, as you can see, if she misses a little left, it's going to jerk and go through the face, so I think she might make another change.
Good point, Kathy. Thank you very much.
She's bowling on the pair for the first time. Asbaty is shooting her second game, so it really is it's a very, very big advantage to have that top seed and be able to choose where you bowl your next game.
Why would there be such a difference, Shannon, in 2 pairs of lanes when there's synthetic lanes installed at the same time? Why, for the people at home, would there be such a difference?
A lot of the difference is that you have an entire game bowled by different opponents on these pairs before the final match has even taken place. So, and all the practice on top of that. All these players attack the lanes. The 4 players also attack the lanes all a little differently, and so they do break down differently over the course of the 30 minutes of practice.
Good point. It's a good adjustment for fans at home, as once again we have a malfunction, and once again Diandra is going to have to wait a second to shoot the 10-pin. And with that being said, Shannon, you've bowled so much with her. Does Diandra like to throw the ball hard or straight or hook it or what? What is her best game, or you think she's versatile enough to win with any kind of shot almost?
Diandra's extremely versatile. She impresses me. She works hard on her game with learning everything she can. And watching her at the World Championships last year, I mean, when the shot demanded her to play out, she played out. When the shot demanded her to play left, she played left. She actually won the Women's World Championship Masters last year, where you bowl 1 game on the short pair, 1 game on the left pair, and she ended up coming out victorious.
That's great experience and great versatility. Now for a second consecutive 10-pin to take a 10-pin lead, second frame. Husband John, a very congenial young man, and there's many, one of her, Diandra's best friends, Miss Swager, who is a good bowler in her own right, right next to her husband. She's also bowled well in the tournament. Now, third frame, Diandra up on the left-hand lane. She's had 2 balls in the pocket, 2 10-pins, leads by 10 against former U.S. Open champion Kim Terrell-Kearney.
Looked like a much better, smoother release off her hand. I like it. When she throws the strike, she gives herself a little bit of applause. I like that's very cute. That's good. I like it. I used to do that, but it was a little more violent. Like, yes.
I don't remember that.
You were way too young.
Okay, third frame.
Boy, I'll tell you, you get a 7-10 to start the game out, then you make an adjustment and you go to the 4-9. It's almost like she's thinking she's got to really hit this perfectly flush in the pocket. This ball's going to travel up just a little bit high, You'd think it'd just be a 4-pin, but no, she gets the double disaster. This can be made. She needs to slide the 4 into the 9, but certainly a very difficult split.
Odds for this, Marshall, when I kept him on the Pro Bowlers Tour, were 9-2. So you make it just 2 times out of 9 attempts. Let's see what happens.
No, you made it 2 times out of 9 attempts, Bo.
I didn't have enough ball to leave the 4-9.
I made it once every month.
Well, Kim's going to settle down here. Asbaty has not put a lot of pressure on her with only a single strike, and there's plenty of room left in a match. Many a match has been won, especially in an event like this, U.S. Women's Open, under a lot of pressure, when you just start throwing a bunch of strikes and all of a sudden the other player kind of gets lost. So let's see what happens.
She switched balls, and now she's going to start over. Something must have distracted her.
Kim, who is a coach at Delaware State University in the NCAA Division I program, so is not doing a lot of professional bowling, but has tons of experience.
More length on that ball.
It's a great shot. Actually, what that ball did is it looks like it's got more length, but what it's doing, it's reading the mid lane a little bit earlier, so it's smoothing out the back end reaction. It's not so sharp and violent off the back.
That's why we have you here. Thank you very much. We're going to go to Kathy, Dora, and Lizzie for a report.
Well, Kim made the ball change that I thought she would. She went from the ball that was length and flip, which was the clash, to a game breaker. Earlier rolling, stronger, with a little shine on it, smoothed out her reaction. Great choice.
You know what, Shannon? I actually think Diandra was happy with that shot off her hand, and it just sailed. I mean, she was going for the throat right there early in the match and left a 2-pin.
Yeah, a lot of it could be, too, that ball that Kim was using may have pushed some oil down the lane and tightened up that spot off.
Well, you have to be aware of every
point.
shot. You know what, Marsh? I mean, these lanes change fast.
Really fast. And we noticed that all week long throughout the tournament.
We had 186 players start this tournament. We're down to the first finals, if you say to be. One of these players will bowl in our final match in the on the last weekend. And the field average, Marshall, for 186 players turned out to be 187.63. So the scoring was not real high. It's a demanding condition, and as rightfully so, it should be in the U.S. Open.
Absolutely, but there were a lot of bowlers here who were here bowling so much for as fun as for a chance to win this event. Asbaty leaves another 10-pin, and there's the transition. It just continues, and they have to figure out a way to get the ball to enter that pocket properly to knock all the pins down. This ball is going to just lay a little bit toward the end, doesn't continue. 6-pin gets stuck in the channel, and she's got to practice another 10-pin, which she's been good at.
She hasn't missed a 10-pin in over a year, I don't think.
Okay.
That's what she told me.
But I'll bet she hasn't missed many in a year, and she does a lot of bowling.
Yes, she does. Well, it's time for Kim Terrell-Kearney to really start strapping that ball, Marshall.
And she has the opportunity to be only 2 pins down if she can strike in the 5th and 6th frame. So even with the horrendous start, she's still got the chance to get right back into this game.
Good point. Wow.
Oh, and she made a great ball change and made a great shot. 6-pin's going to just fly over the top of the 10-pin.
Yeah, that was a great shot. There were so many corner pins left this week. I think there was more corner pins left this week between the 7 and the 10 for everybody out here playing than I've seen in a really long time.
Beautiful form by Terrell, and look at that 6-pin. Pop right over the top, just like Shannon was saying. Very, very frustrating to make a great shot like that and come up with just the 10-pin.
No problem there, but it's early in the match. Very personal, Kim Terrell-Kearney reacting to a kind of a poor break. But Shannon, going back to the point you made before, the lanes, as I observed from Reno to here last year's U.S. Open, seemed pretty good. But you know what? The corners, they hanging up more than they did last year.
Definitely, absolutely, more than I remember. It was a frustrating week for myself and many of my other competitors.
Okay, let's see what Kim can do here in the 6th. All right, a great shot by Kim Terrell-Kearney. Shannon O'Keefe, thank you very much. And now let's take it some former U.S. Open champions. For more information on registering and tourney information, go to bowling's official website, bowl.com. We're back with Diandra Asbaty halfway through the quarterfinal match, leading by 22 pins. And Marshall Holman is going to bring us some technology bowling.
As we can see with the throw motion with Kim, she's going to be blue, and Diandra is the red ball. You see them going down together. The red ball of Diandra goes out a little bit further to the right. Now they're just about the same. They're both going to strike. That was Kim in the third frame and Diandra in the fourth. And we'll take a look at the Cats' ball speed comparison. You can see Diandra's ball speed pretty consistent from 18.4 to 18.7. And Kim throws the ball a little bit slower. As I was saying earlier, she's got to be careful about that slower ball speed.
Diandra up 6 frame, leads by 22 pins. The winner of this match will go to our finals in a couple of weeks to bowl for the championship.
And she leaves the bucket. 2-4-5-8, and Bo, that is no bargain to try and spare.
You know, all day long we've watched her bowl, and she's been around the pocket with relatively easy spares, Marshall. Let's see how she handles this. This is a real bugaboo for anybody. You can chop it, you can go across lane, and I'm sure she didn't practice this in her opening practice, so could be a pivotal shot right here.
Interesting to see if she goes hard and straight at it or tries to use the ball that hooks. I think she'll throw pretty much just at it. No, she's hooking at it. That's why she's down there and I'm up here. She made it. She didn't make it textbook, but she does not care in the least.
All right. Watch the 2-pin. Got a great break. Hit the 4, took out the 8, Marshall.
Yeah, that's a very big relief for Asbaty.
Coming down the home stretch, 4 frames left to determine this week's winner. Asbaty leads by 18.
Just the 10-pin. Looks like she needs to get the ball rolling a little bit sooner in the front end. Maybe move a little bit to the right, be a little more direct. We'll see Asbaty on this particular delivery, Bo. Ball looks good there, but it's just laboring. It's not finishing its roll.
I agree. It's going down instead of 35 feet. It's going down 45 feet before it makes its break. But she's been dead eye on this 10-pin. All right. Diandra Asbaty is just chugging along. She's given Kim Terrell-Kearney an opportunity to, as we see in the 7th frame with a double, to cut the lead of Asbaty to just 7 pins. Strike working.
And she made a great shot last time on this lane, Bo. Left the 10-pin. She's been striking on lane 41. She needs to strike right here, and she's right back into this match. A little help for Terrell. Terrell-Kearney now down by only 7 pins, and that ball rolled 17-9. That was the fastest ball she's thrown.
With so many past members and present members of the Team USA, as we see this ripping shot, taking out the head pin. She reacts.
Well, she loved it, and you know her husband loved it as well. That was a great shot, a great break, and you know, Terrell-Kearney was kind of due a good break. She hasn't really had much going her way this game, but has a chance in the 8th frame to take the lead. Yeah, we've seen a lot of that.
Marshall, we expected in the warm-ups to see some really big scores. We found that they've always scored well on this cheetah pattern, and not to be. And I think he hit the nail on the head, and Shannon did too. The oil is being pushed down in this bowling center, and there's more corner pins than ever, and yet the pins are very bouncy. So when you hit solid, you might leave a solid 10. When you hit light, you're not kicking out the 10. So that's been the key pin for sure. There's no doubt. Here's what the ladies are bowling for. First place, $25,000. Second, $15,000 down to the top 16. All cash for $4,000. These ladies are definitely in the hunt for the $25,000. Just 2 frames left, 8 pins separating them. Asbaty up on the right-hand lane, spare up.
She left the 2-4-5-8 last time, Bo, so she'll have to make an adjustment. Is she going to move further right, go straighter? Looks good. No, it looks great. Husband approves of that one. That's the way my wife bowls.
You know, Marshall, I'll give Diandra credit. I mean, not only is he experiencing the Women Player of the Year last year, but she's hard to read in match plays. You know, when you're bowling somebody and look them in the eye, Diandra has this like, well, I just had this completely figured out. I'm not going to miss. She actually makes the opponent a little squeamish back there, thinking she's never going to miss. So now we come down to the key foundation 9th frame. It's anybody's match. Asbaty leads by 8, can make it 18 pins if she strikes.
Now she was distracted. There was some noise in the back. Now, if I was her, I would take the ball, put it down, and start all over again. That wasn't what she chose to do. Always important to keep a routine.
Boy, you are so right, Marshall, on a pivotal shot. She leaves the 1-2-10 washout.
Yeah, it just looked like she got a little bit out of her rhythm. You can see that ball got down early, bad leverage, never gets to the pocket, leaves the 1-2 and the 10. Yeah, you can see by our CAT system that that ball went significantly right of the target she had been hitting. Needs to get the ball left of the head pin, knock the head pin into the 10. It can be made. She's a great spare shooter. And the ultimate bad break, she wraps the head pin around the 10. Boy, sitting on the bench, Terrell-Kearney gets the break she was looking for. Watch this, right around. And you were saying in years past, Bo, if you got the head pin over on a washout, you always made it, but the pins are so much more lively now.
Yes, I'm talking wood pins, Marshall, and we haven't seen wood pins in 50 years. Now, Kim Terrell, with the gift of an open frame, can take this match right now with 2 strikes. There's the first one.
Boy, and after such a tough start, but she hangs in there. She doesn't allow herself to get mentally down, as her husband certainly approves of that.
It's going right to the 10th frame. Scoreboard tells the story as Del Ballard shows it to me. Asbaty going at a 181 pace, Terrell at a 185 pace. The situation is simply this. If Kim Terrell-Kearney can strike and get 7 spare, she'll end up with 192 and shut out Asbaty. Anything less, Diandra Asbaty will determine her own destiny. Here we go, 10th frame.
That's it. What a great comeback. Way to hang in there. And it's got to be very disheartening for Diandra Asbaty. But Terrell-Kearney she bided her time and was able to get a break and then take it out.
Still needs a count. Needs 7 spare to end up with 192. Any less than that, she can win, she can lose, or get tie. It'll all be up to Asbaty.
You're right, Bo.
Close the door.
I got a little ahead of myself. She does need to get 9 pins right now to shut out Asbaty.
Or 8-7 spare.
Or 8-7 spare.
Here we go. That's a winner. Kim Terrell-Kearney will be in our final 4 group for the U.S. Open Championship. We'll be back after this.